Alright, hello, welcome to my channel, and a bit of a face reveal. So, topic today, I don't know what I'm talking about, let me restart. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Bit of a return for me, so those who've known, no, let's try again. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today, I want to show you a little bit of a devlog. So I've been working on an app. I've teased it a little bit in some of the discords that I'm in, but this app has to do with the game Space Engineers. So, maybe it could be applied to other games or things as plugins and extensions eventually get developed. But at the moment, if you're not familiar with the Space Engineers game, I recommend that you just look up some information somewhere else. I'm not going to explain it here, sorry. But point being is in the game, you can create GPS coordinates, but you're always kind of like in the middle of the cloud. So if your camera view, there's stuff all around you, and it can get sometimes, especially if there's hundreds of GPSs and you don't have it filtered correctly or whatever, it can just get a little overwhelming. Not really a big issue. The more you play the game, the more you get used to it. You can really just tone all of those GPS icons out. But one thing that I really wanted to try out, and this was inspired by another user named Bongo, so thank you Bongo for starting me on this. One of the server iterations that we play on had kind of like a planet with an asteroid ring around it, and one of the groups had a great idea to create a little 2D map of all the GPS locations of everything they could find, different bases or deposits and stuff. So they got this really cool little diagram. You could see like the different zones that people were working in. And then I had the great idea, like, well, why don't I just make this 3D? And so this is what is kind of happened here. So this project is to take, eventually, the goal is to be able to import a world save file into this application. And right now it's a local application. Eventually it will become a web application, and you'll be able to see all of the GPS coordinates that are in a cloud. So you can look at it from the outside, pan around, zoom around, and be able to look at the points, select the points, and have different information on them. And then if you edit or change anything in this external view, sync it back into the game and it'll load in. That's the ultimate goal. Baby steps. So the first thing that I did was I actually created this little program. This is just a proof of concept. This is like version 1, and I didn't have a name for it yet at this point. And it's so simple, it's super buggy, but this group of GPS coordinates that were created, I can't actually input anything here. It won't let me. I put this all in the code, so this is just showing in the code. But I can change a couple things, like the point size. So you can see the point sizes change. Hopefully my face isn't in the way. Let me check that actually. There, I moved my face for this view. I'll move it back over for the second part that I'll show you. But anyway, from here, what you can see, there are a couple different options. You can change. So what it means by grid is I had this little floor grid, but it was like really buggy. I couldn't get it to like stay low while I'm moving around, so it was always kind of like, I think it's still linked with like the 0, 0, 0 point, but there's a shadow or a haze a certain distance from the camera, so it looks like it's below, but it's really not. Anyway, that's besides the point. That's what this grid is right here. I could turn it off or on. This was broken, this axis. This is supposed to turn off these little axes lines, but it'll bug out the entire thing and I have to restart it. So I'm not going to click on it. The other big thing that I wanted to do was also, if you have your GPS coordinates, it's great to have a reference. So having planets would be nice. So pretty much what I can do is I can drop a shape in. So I'm just going to do a sphere. I'm going to do yellow at coordinate 0, 0, 0. That's going to be the very center. And I'm going to give it a radius of 10. And I can add shape. Actually, you know what? It comes down here. I can. This was a CPU and FPS counter. I'm going to make that 20. There we go, a little bit of a planet. So anyway, this was the idea, and then you could, pick another spot. Let's, pick a different GPS coordinate. We'll go for, I think this is one that's above the plane. Nope. And technically I could put any GPS coordinate I want in here, but I've had some issues with it only lining up on 2 of the planes and not the third one. Again, this was a demo to see if it was something that I could do. So let's give it a nice green color. Well, let's go gray. It's the moon, right? We're gonna have moon, and we'll give it a 10. And so there, it's added it in at that point. So now you've got a nice little, planetary celestial body situation going. So if you're in the game, this could be Earth-like planet, that could be the moon, and you can determine the size of the shapes. This size has nothing to do with the actual size in the game. This is just again a template. So anyway, that's what this was. This is what you could do with this. And so that was version 1. Version 1 allowed me to kind of look at it and say, yeah, I can do something like this. And so I want to continue going forward. So I've actually moved on to version 2, and version 2 has a name. So the name I picked out, which I thought was pretty funny. Let me load it up real quick. Let's see. That's the wrong one. All right, so give me 1 second. So now if I close this out and I open up this right here, this is version 2, which I'm super happy about. And actually, give me 1 second again. Okay. Now because that corner was empty, I wanted to show you the little gizmo. So this was version 2, and I've been working on this for several weeks now, and I had a lot of time on the weekends, and that's probably not going to be something I can do going forward as much. This is going to be worked on little by little. This went through several different iterations, and I apologize, I don't have the pictures of those iterations, but it first started out with having that same ribbon that was on the left-hand side of the screen, and I eventually just kind of got rid of it and had tabs that just opened up relevant information. That way you had more of a view. This is a placeholder sphere, which I have a little neat, selection animation on there, which can be turned off. Just to go through a few things, you can see also as I move it around, you have some lighting effect now, which is nice. I got rid of that grid that was under it; just didn't work out. And you can see down here, you got a little handy gizmo that shows you the XYZ coordinates direction. So this is pretty handy. A lot of people like to orient themselves to have Z up. I'm working on getting this to where you can kind of change what the up position is based on what your world is. Currently, I'm just trying to get it to work with default worlds, but eventually, once you have custom worlds and things like that, it'll be able to pull this data in and work with it. Space Engineers files are really an open book. It's all laid out under one world file. You just find that file. It's got everything, all the sandbox, the SBCs, the SBSs. Excuse me. My phone just went off. Anyway, what was I saying? Space Engineers worlds have all the files you need. So I'm trying to develop a software that can just scrape that information and then input what you want. I almost had it yesterday, but I killed the entire program. I had to revert to an older version because it got so complicated that it actually crashed my whole computer. Turned out it was pulling not just the user GPS information or the world information, it was also pulling every object and entity GPS location. So any asteroid I ever flew past, it was trying to pull that location information. It destroyed things. So I had to revert back to this version, which is the more stable version at the moment. This is version 1.1, as you can see right here. So VEGA is the name. VEGA stands for Visualization Engine for GPS Analysis. And also VEGA is a star constellation. I thought it worked out. It sounds cool. But anyway, let me show you a couple of things I can do with this. So first and foremost, this is a very basic tab. So I have, to be determined tabs. There's going to be features coming. I'll reveal as I go. Right now, I have a simple upload CSV file where this is just a CSV file with 28 ports that are just kind of around the sphere. Eventually, this will have the ability where either you can manually put them in or, do big groups of them, whatever you want to do. And I'm not certain yet how I want to do it, but either I'll have each GPS on a list here that you can click on and then edit. Currently, I just have a selection tab where if you click on a point, it'll rotate all around, which is really nice. And if it's selected, but not you, let's select the point. Oh wait, did I lose it? Oh, it's broken. Okay, so I used to have it where you could click on it and then hit select, which right now is grayed out. We'll do it for the planet because it works for the planet. But select opens up a small menu where you can edit different attributes about it. So I might merge that into the GPS panel at some point. So anyway, as you can see right here, I actually do have a load skin functionality. This is just a test world, but this is actually measured in the Space Engineers measuring system, which is meters, kilometers, So this is actually 120 kilometers across in the code. So this is an actual Earth-like size planet, and these are all GPS coordinates around it. So let me just show you at the moment, and eventually I will have a function to where, and this would be super advanced. I don't know if this is possible or I'll even be able to get to it, but I will have it to where it will be able to create a skin and even I want to try to make an actual surface map of the planet. That way you can measure GPS coordinates even if they're below the surface, and create a skin to put on this. So, but currently, and this is in a different folder that I have the first version, not the 1.1 version. But I got all these 2D maps, so you can put your own skin on it for now. Working on the lighting, obviously the dark side needs to be much more contrasty, a lot darker. But also this view tab right here, which I'll go ahead and show. The view tab controls a lot of the different camera movements. So say if I'm zoomed in right here and I want to hit fit all, that's going to zoom it out to include all the data. So if there's multiple planets, multiple points, it'll zoom out and see all. I don't know if this is going to be useful in the future because you can get pretty far out with some things. It might shrink it down too much and kill it. Currently, one of the bugs is if I zoom out too far, it kind of gets swallowed, and I'm working on that, as you can see. Anyway, so the focus button, if I have this planet selected and I can use my left click to rotate camera, right click can pan around based on where that camera position is. So if I'm off to the side a little bit, I can hit focus and it'll focus back in on what I was looking at. Kind of more handy if you have a point selected and then focus on it. Reset is pretty much okay, that resets it to the top 0 position. Again, I don't know if I'll keep that, but that's what the reset currently is. And then I had this little handy dandy little 360 animation where it'll spin, and I can control the speed here. And, just a fun little thing to do if you want this to just kind of revolve around something. It's very therapeutic in my opinion. And then focus transition, that just changes how fast it switches between the different transition positions. So that's all that is. But also, I can load a skybox. So we'll do that. I've got a 8K Milky Way here. So you couple that with the 360. There is a bug right here where it shuts this off sometimes. Currently not, but as you can see. I'm going to slow it down because it looks a lot better when you're further out. Anyway, there you go. Now you're revolving around a little planet, this is freaking fantastic. This took me, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be, one, but also it's kind of advanced. Okay, what else do I got? That's pretty much it, really. You can see where your current camera position is that's what this GPS counter is right here. So wherever the actual camera position is, that's where this is gonna show up. And this is really just used for dev stuff, but because this is not going to show a good representation of what you're looking at. So if you want to kind of generalize coordinate area of what your camera position is, even if you click on something, it's not going to be on that, obviously. This shows how many points are loaded, if that's handy or not. The dev panel, this is only going to be something that's shown in testing. Any new test or fix or feature I throw into the dev panel first, test it out. If it works great, then I transition it to a different panel or a different section of the code or whatever. So currently I have like a file drop. I'm going to eventually have it to where you can just grab the SBC file or the SBS file and drop it in here and it'll parse the data. There was a whole section under here for that before, but again, I broke it, so it's not there anymore. But that's pretty much it. This is man, let's see here. So this is where is it? Okay, I also don't see it in here, but there was, yeah, this is all broken now. There was an option to turn off this mesh if you didn't want to see it. Oh wait, selection mesh on, there we go. All right, yeah, it's just that I had it lined up on the left and now it's not anymore. Anyway, so if you want to click on something and not see the mesh, there you go. I got a couple of skins here. There's Earth, there's Mars, here's a Mars. Oh shoot, that's that's the wrong one. I should probably separate those. Let's fix that, there we go. Select the planet, hit selection, load screen. Obviously, you can see there's not a good flow to this yet. It will be worked on, but hey, look, there's Mars. Now you got Mars, and you can do the moons of Mars and whatever you want to do. There's a bug. I switched the planet skin, and it turned off the 360. I got to recycle it. So anyway, that's where I'm at with this. This is I'm excited I was able to make this work within a few months. or not months, sorry, a few weeks really since the inception of the idea. There's a long way to go. Like there's a lot to do. This is just concept, and this was all like test objects, test GPS coordinates. They're not nothing works with the game yet, but that's the ultimate goal, is to be able to just connect it with the game. And the web application side of it would be really good if it can be linked with like a server, which would be amazing for server admins. They could literally zoom out and look at everything, everyone's information, everyone's locations, and see if there's grouping or anything like that. Um, but if it's a web application, I don't know how well that. Obviously, I've got to host that somewhere, so that's a whole nother ball game to look at. Right now, it's going to be local. There is also the potential possibility of it reading where everything is, and every 5 minutes just updating, resyncing with the files so that it can show anything that's new. So you could kind of sort of run it in real time. I'm looking into it, but trying to run this in parallel with the game and get real time information is probably outside my expertise at the moment. I'm learning. This is a big learning experience for me. I'm using a lot of new coding techniques and that I'm learning, and it's been fantastic. But anyway, this is the project. So if you want to continue seeing updates for this, and eventually I will have, excuse me, voice crack. I will have eventually a test server set up where I will ask and see if anybody's interested in helping me test and bug smash and just figure out and get good feedback for this. So if you have any feedback for this, I would be you know stoked if you could put it in the comments. Let me know what you think, and if this is something that you want to see more progress on in the future, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stuff, which I really don't feel comfortable asking, but that's just kind of like telling you that's how you're gonna get the updates for now. Um, but that's it. That's it going forward. This channel, I'm gonna have this kind of stuff on here, devlogs like this. I mostly play games as well, so you're gonna see game stuff on this channel as well. I play Space Engineers a lot, so you're gonna see tons of Space Engineers content and other stuff as well. But I'm gonna get back into it. I got no schedule requirement, so it's just gonna be as it is. This is the first video saying hello. I'm back because I did used to be on here, for those who not know. But anyway, that's going to be it for now, I think. And I look forward to the next devlog, and we'll see what we have at that point in time. So thank you, and bye. You can go now. Click the button. I don't know what side you're on.